All right, guys. Welcome to Welding Safety Level 1. Let's get started. Okay, Session 1 objectives. When trainees have completed this session, they should be able to do the following. Describe basic welding processes, the welding trade and training apprenticeship programs, describe basic welding processes and the welding trade, describe NCCER standardized training and apprenticeship programs, identify and describe personal protective equipment related to the welding trade, identify and describe body, foot, and hand protective gear, identify and describe ear, eye, face, and head protective gear. All right, and identify and describe welding safety practices related to specific hazards or environments. Describe the importance of welding safety and identify factors related to accidents. Describe basic welding safety practices related to general work area. Describe hot work permits and fire watch requirements, and describe confined spaces and their related safety practices. Okay, the welding trade. Today there are many different welding processes, but SMAW remains the most common type of welding used for both iron and steel. Okay, cutting methods. Since no electrical power is required, oxy-fuel cutting is highly portable, and it remains the most common cutting method. Although it does have some limitations, guys. It will not cut aluminum or stainless steel. Okay, that's where plasma becomes very, very handy. Okay, NCCER standardized training. The more welding training and education you complete, the greater number of opportunities that will be available to you. So this is just kind of a flow chart of different programs and how to go about getting into the welding trade or education. Okay, personal protective equipment. Your clothing is part of your welding PPE as well. Avoid synthetic materials, pants with cuffs, and low-top shoes. Fire-resistant clothing must be washed with care. Okay, leather and fire-resistant protective coverings. Some protective clothing, such as the cape, is not necessary for every welding task. Welding gloves. Different types of gloves suit different welding and cutting process techniques. Okay, so if you look, these heavier gloves, or even the standard leather gloves, are going to be much too stiff and large for any process like TIG welding, where you really need a lot of motor control and finger control. Okay, cutting goggles and face shield combinations. The choice of eye protection depends on the task at hand. A face shield should always be worn when grinding, in addition to safety glasses. So when you're oxy-fuel cutting, the tinted face shields work really nice, especially if you're in an area where you could have sparks falling, or even if you're cutting older or dirty material, helps protect the face as well as your eyes. Okay, this is an example of a table from AWS providing assistance in the selection of lens tents for welding, cutting, brazing, and even soldering processes. This can also be found in your book, and it just gives you the general guidelines for selecting a lens. At the top, there's shielded metal arc welding. One of the most common lens shades you're going to find in an arc welding helmet, which we'll be talking about in the next slide, is a shade 10. You want to be careful when you're welding. The importance of the correct shade and the correct clothing to cover helps prevent you from getting flash burn, which when that happens, you've actually burnt your eyes, and it'll feel similar to having hot sand in your eyes. And then you also want to protect your skin, because the UV radiation from the welding arc will give you probably one of the most painful and severe sunburns that you've ever had. Okay, welding helmets. Welding hoods range from very simple models to those with auto-darkening lenses and side viewing ports. Okay, welding safety. Personal factors and accidents. Using personal hygiene products containing alcohol, illness or injury, mental stress, age or inexperience, alcohol and drug use. Okay, when we talk about drugs too, we're not just talking about illegal drugs. Prescription medications can even cause this, can cause drowsiness or lack of focus. Illegal drugs and alcohol, there's no place for that on a job site. Okay, physical factors and accidents. There's foot and vehicle traffic, stops and starts in the work process, disorganization or messy work areas, flammable and hazardous materials, and damaged or defective equipment can all be causes of accidents in the workplace. Okay, work area safety. A welding screen protects others from flash burn and weld splatter. Also, good housekeeping is going to be the number one thing that we can do to help keep the area safe. Okay, that includes keeping stuff picked up so that there's nothing on the floor that could be a trip hazard. Rod stubs, metal, anything like that. We want to make sure that we keep our shop clean and keep things in their place and organized. Just helps to keep a safer work environment. Okay, a welding blanket can protect other materials and adjacent equipment. So you'd put this over anything that you wanted to protect from the sparks. Okay, a hot work permit. It official authorization from site management to perform the work, promotes the development and adherence to fire safety guidelines, provides a record of who is working and where in an emergency situation, identifies the fire watch as well as the workers. Confined spaces. As just for good rule of thumb, never enter a confined space unless you've had proper training and you have the proper equipment to do so. Every confined space may have unique features that require unique preparations. Okay, and you just want to. The main thing is you want to make sure that you're in an area that has enough oxygen to support you being down there, and you want to be really careful because using shielding gases and such in the welding process can actually cause the oxygen to be lost in the room, and could cause you to suffocate while you're in just a confined space. Okay. Welding Safety Part 2 Module Exam. Read sections 3.5 to 3.7 to prepare for next session. Review the complete module to prepare for the exam. Complete section review for sections 1.00 through 3.00, the module review and trade terms quiz. So, guys, just start working your way through the quiz for this module that's online, as well as the trade terms quiz that's online. Remember, you have 10 tries to pass those. Stay tuned for session 2.